Greetings, everyone. I'm the cameramandylanfan, Richard B. Westlein, and my new book, 12 Rounds with Bob Dylan, The Pugilistic Poet, will be available this June on Amazon. And it brings together two concepts that may help in understanding Bob Dylan's expansive body of work. Dare I say, in 12 artistic periods, or rounds as I will call them, relatable to his real-life pugilistic experiences, which are not very well known to the public. It's my belief that Bob Dylan's songs, seen in 12 artistic periods, help bring some clarity and organization to all his individual albums and songs, which can be a bit overwhelming to comprehend across his more than 60 years of creating them. So too does this concept of periods apply for observing the work of other great artists, for example, Pablo Picasso. The Spanish painter and sculptor lived and worked until age 91, creating an estimated 50,000 pieces of work, universally recognized in 10 artistic periods, sometimes 12, as debate among scholars continues to this day. This aspect of art history began with 18th century German scholar Johann Winckelmann, while studying early Greek art and deciphering the subtle differences in their modes and styles. Winckelmann's theories of evolution in Greek art earned him the nickname the father of art history. So too, in this mode of observation, can we view the breadth and depth of the music and songs of Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan, age 82, has 82 commercial record albums to his name and has published over 500 songs. The other angle I'm bringing to the table in the book is how the sport of boxing has played in various regions of Bob Dylan's life. The well for research on this topic is not very deep, but nevertheless it's a true fact that Bobby Zimmerman began boxing in high school when it was part of the phys ed curriculum, and Bob has maintained his interest and practice in the sport ever since, which includes training while on the road and attending fights when possible. In 1994 or 95, Bob Dylan purchased a commercial building in Santa Monica, California, and converted it into a coffee house and a secret state-of-the-art boxing gymnasium, which closed in late 2020. Since my book is a work of narrative nonfiction, I have couched the non-fictional angle of Bob Dylan's 12 artistic periods inside the narrative angle of his lifelong boxing-related experiences, which are fictionalized in my book. There is a glossary of nicknames for Bob Dylan I have created as light-hearted euphemisms for his real name and employed only when describing the fictional pugilistic storyline. For example, Fighting Fusionist, Athletic Aesop, Boxing Bard, Cagey Craftsman, Jabbing Jammer, and Punching Proser are just some of the fictional handles for the real-life poet-boxer Bob Dylan. As an example, a paragraph might begin with, quote, "When the welterweight wordsmith steps through the ropes and into the recording studio, you'll see him in his boxing attire, with a guitar and harmonica rack around his neck. The duking Dylan is looking for an opening in his opponent's defense so he can deliver punches like Blowing in the Wind, Girl from the North Country, and Like a Rolling Stone," end quote. Ultimately, the boxing narrative story points are brief in comparison to the more elaborative discourse on the artistic periods. So, to begin with, round one, the musical expeditionary period, commences on May 24th, 1944, the day toddler Bobby Zimmerman turned 3. Who knows exactly when he started using his first instrument, his voice, but chances are sometime between the ages of 3 or 4, Bobby began singing with family members on special occasions. This is similarly documented in several of the more reliable biographies on Bob Dylan, which include descriptions of his early childhood relationships and experiences. Hence, the beginning of Bob Dylan's first artistic period, which includes learning to play the piano, strumming his first guitar, and all the way up through recording his first commercial record album in 1961. The musical expeditionary period spanned approximately 17 years and is entitled as such because that's how Bob Dylan described himself, to film director Martin Scorsese in the 2005 documentary No Direction Home, saying, quote, "Well, someone like myself who was a musical expeditionary had nowhere to return to, no past to speak of, nobody to lean on," end quote. Dylan's one official studio album produced in this period is entitled Bob Dylan and contains 2 original songs. Things get more interesting in round 2, the solo acoustic period, March 1962 to August 1964, and contains 3 official studio albums, all recorded in the musician's solo acoustical mode, hence the periodic title, Solo Acoustic Period. In this period, Bob Dylan gains much popularity through the 33 unique and compelling folk songs he presents across the period's albums. Also, with a little help from fellow folk singer Joan Baez, his celebrity status rose swiftly. His anthemic song Blowing in the Wind from the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan album did much to elevate his status in the industry and in the public eye, as the song was covered by folk trio Peter, Paul, and Mary in 1963, who took the song to number 2 on the national charts. Albums The Times They Are A-Changin' and Another Side of Bob Dylan also reside at this period.